Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. I'm so happy you guys have been enjoying watching the lore videos lately as much as I've been making them. So to reward you, I'm going to do the complete opposite today for some reason and instead do a news sort of reaction / rambling video. Now don't worry, lore will be back tomorrow, but this is something I've been thinking about a lot and I figured was worth a discussion. And the topic of conversation today is whether Star Wars has a movie problem, and I think more broadly, there's maybe the more important question of whether Star Wars, the modern Star Wars specifically, the modern era of Star Wars, has been able to find the proper balance of quantity and quality. Now, this conversation stems from a recent article featuring Taika Waititi, and there were two real pain points in this article for Star Wars fans. One was the fact that Taika joked about him forgetting Natalie Portman was in the prequels. I do think that was just a joke, not a big deal. The thing that I want to talk about today, though, is that Taika discussed the possibility that his movie would never see the light of day. Now, again, I do think it's easy to overstate what he said, but I think it sort of illuminates an issue that Star Wars fans, including myself, have been having. I have no faith in Disney actually releasing new Star Wars movies, and I want you to listen to what I'm saying here. I don't have no faith that Disney Star Wars movies will be good. I've actually liked a lot of Disney stuff. I've liked The Force Awakens, I liked Solo, I liked Rogue One. That's on the movie side. I obviously love The Mandalorian and the other shows. My issue is I've got no faith that these things will actually see the light of day. And I think that's a bit of a problem on the Disney side. I don't think they're properly managing fan expectations, and it's definitely leading to a bit of angst, I guess. Because, well, let's be honest, this is not the first time that this has happened. For one, if we go way back, there were rumors of there being various movies in production, Boba Fett movies, Bounty Hunter movies. I can't hold Disney accountable for that. I mean, those are just rumors. They may have been unsubstantiated. Either way, those weren't things Disney commented on, so you know what? That's fine. But since then, it feels like 1,000 movies have been announced and 0 have shown any real progress towards completion. For one, we know that Disney wants one Star Wars movie every 2 years, starting in 2023. And then December through 2027, there would be a Star Wars movie 3 times. One of these would probably be Rogue Squadron, one of these would be Taika's movie, and then we also have somewhere the Rian Johnson trilogy. We also had the Benioff and Weiss movies, which were actually just straight up canceled. It was supposed to be an entire trilogy there. And I believe there may have been even other films announced. My problem is, it seems like a lot of these just may not happen. I've got 0 faith the Rian Johnson movies are coming. I'm just not sure whether Taika's movies are coming, and Rogue Squadron has also had some questionable press about the future of the movies. Now, first of all, I want to say, I would prefer that Disney be a bit more conservative when it comes to further producing a movie if they don't think it's going to be something special. If Taika's story and the plot that he imagines just doesn't work or doesn't come together correctly, then yeah, I don't want them to rush. I want them to take the time, or I want them to move on. The problem is they announce everything when it feels like all they've got is a name attached to it. Like, I doubt Patty Jenkins had any progress on her movie other than the fact that it would be based on starfighters. We know Taika had very little idea of what he was writing other than the fact that he was sort of a hot director. And to me, that's just a very, very weird way to create and market Star Wars films, especially where I do think Disney wants the Star Wars cinematic releases to be special compared to the Disney Plus TV show releases, which will be more frequent, even maybe miniseries or Disney Plus movies. They definitely want the theatrical experience to remain special, and I think that's something they learned from kind of the past. Honestly, I don't want to hear any more movie announcements, until we have at the very least a trailer or some sort of reassurance this is going to actually happen, because right now I hear a Star Wars movie announced and it feels like it means nothing to me. And it's not just the movies either. We've had so many Disney Plus Star Wars shows announced, and let's be honest, not all of them are going to see the light of day. Right now, I don't know if the Lando TV show is coming out. In May of this year, it was reported that there's been basically no movement on it. Not really great. The future of Rangers of the New Republic is questionable, to put it lightly. And I guess my point is that they've lost a lot of the potential hype building of these trilogy, these series, these movie announcements when so many of them end up falling through. And I do think that Disney needs to maybe rethink their marketing plan. Also, I think this may be tied to some fundamental misunderstanding of how it's best to market Disney. And obviously, Disney has marketers worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars working for them. I'm just some dude who's sitting in front of a computer, but this is how I feel. Disney claimed to learn their lesson when it came to Star Wars movie releases, where they said, we've basically put too many out, let's have a slowdown. I don't think that needs to move across the brand, but I do think maybe each of these projects needs more focus, or that it's better not to hit us with just so much Star Wars news. And I will say, Kenobi also did get me a little bit worried about whether so many projects running at once would mean production quality for each individual project is going to suffer. There were definitely aspects of Kenobi that felt a bit more rushed, that felt like they didn't have the best use of the technology they could have, unlike The Mandalorian. And yeah, that made me a bit worried. Seeing the trailer for Andor, which looks phenomenal, really, truly movie quality, helps lessen those rumors, but it's definitely something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I would also say Star Wars should consider diversifying their projects. We've got all these live action projects, and right now, anyways, only one that's animated. I also think that when it comes to video games, that's definitely a niche that's been completely underused. And the thing about Star Wars video games, for me, this is the arena where you can pump out as much content as you want. Video games can be so radically different that I think regardless of how many are releasing a year, there's always going to be an audience for each individual one. Maybe that's naive on my behalf, but the amount of games we've gotten compared to the amount of movies and shows just doesn't line up, to me at least. Anyway, a bit of a rambling there. I don't think I said anything too inflammatory, but some of you may have different ideas about how Star Wars should be run, what they should focus on, at what point in production movies should be announced, so I look forward to reading your guys' thoughts down below. One other thing I do want to briefly mention is books. It definitely feels to me like the expanded universe part of Star Wars, the comics and the books especially, is where we've seen a bit of, I guess, suffering under Disney, especially in terms of content. Like, so many Star Wars stories right now are one-offs and are totally inconsequential to the overall narrative. I talked about that a bit on my podcast, Tapcaf Transmissions, as it relates to the most recent book, Shadow of the Sith. It definitely feels like the authors are being really, really limited in the stories they can tell. And I just think it would be smart, maybe on Disney's half, to really look into the future, carve away certain areas, certain topics, certain storylines, and start handing them out to video games, movies, etc. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, especially if you've read a bunch of the new Star Wars books. Again, I look forward to your comments. Until next time, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.